Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Despite what I said at the end of that video yesterday, I am looking at Chad's carburetor again because I still honestly believe there is nothing that can go wrong on these that can't be fixed short of taking a freaking hammer to them, or at least identifying it. And I had taken this thing in the house, I was getting ready to box it up to send back to him, and some of the comments you guys left and an email from Pascal just got me thinking again. And I've had 24 hours to cool off, haven't been fighting with it for an hour and a half in the afternoon. So I'm looking at it and I was thinking, man, the only way it can be losing that is if for some reason it's not able to draw fuel or air from one of these damn passages. And I was thinking about this air passage way up here, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to run a needle through here. I had done what I thought was a good daylight test on all three of these. We covered that in the HDC video. They're stepped, so the more the throttle opens up, next hole. At part throttle, part low speed throttle, you've got all three of these supplying fuel before it transitions over to that high speed circuit. Okay, so again, this is some super fine wire. And if you open your throttle, it's a little bit bungly and awkward, but you open your throttle and you go through, you should be able to see a wire moving in there. So that's the top. That's the hole farthest from the throttle plate. Okay. That's the hole right there in the middle. So I went and pushed, and it bends. That hole is actually plugged. The very first one, the one that it idles on at no throttle at all. And I can't get anything through this. I'm just bending this little wire. And that's a problem because the next size up wire is pretty big. So I'm to the point where, even a needle is too big to go through here. I'd waller that out, and that wouldn't be kosher. So that's where I'm at, is trying to find something that's strong enough to punch out whatever's in there, but not waller it out. And that wire is probably too big. It is. So I'll be damned if I know what it is that's in here, but I'm virtually certain it's something, because I can't get that to go through. And I don't think I can get enough angle on it coming this way. I don't know what could have gotten down in there. And to get past the carburetor screen and actually plug one of these ports. I've said it before, I personally have not found these ports plugged before. Obviously that doesn't mean squat because it's plugged now. I don't know if I can hold that. Yeah, this is just awkward. I don't know what it's going to take. And more than likely, whatever's in there, I'm not going to be able to show you guys. It'll either be too small or it'll disintegrate as it comes out. But I will get this. I am not letting a carburetor kick my ass. Just not doing it. But I'm not going to burn a bunch of video time on it. When I figure it out, what will do this, we'll come back. Alright, I think the wire on this neon bulb might be of a correct size. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Just punched through. I don't know what the hell. What is that? I don't know that the camera will focus, but whatever that is, feels like a grain of sand, or a piece of tooth, or you know, but whatever. And I don't think there's not enough color to it, and it's white, and it's tiny. That's it right there. And that's kind of dumb. That just shows that sometimes relying on your eyes can fool you, because this was just deep enough in there that it looked like it was clear, but guess what? It wasn't. This'll run now. This'll run right. So yet another lesson. Even when you think you're certain, you probably shouldn't be until you have verified every stinking little thing. And it's easy to go, oh, well, I've never had that happen before. It must never happen. Yeah, well, cute. So, we will put this back together. I will make a mess on my workbench once again. Oil pump won't be primed yet, so maybe it won't sling oil all the way over to the freezer like it did last time. I'll get this put together and installed on that saw, and we'll come back. Alright. We'll get this carburetor installed. I was going to wait until it was installed, but there's just enough trolls online that somebody would have said, that's not the same carb. And it is. But I'm not going to give them the opportunity to say that, because this is going to work. And by the way, the bottom of the saw is still covered in oil. I set it in my wood pile, and yeah, it just needs to go to the firewood hill. Cut a little firewood, and that way it can drip oil where it's supposed to drip oil, and that's in the firewood patch. And get some sawdust and make a nice gooey mess, you know, all those things we want to do. That stupid little grain was kind of hard to describe. It wasn't a pure white, it wasn't clear, but it was somewhere in between, almost like a piece of quartz that didn't quite get hot enough to turn into agate. And I'm familiar with what that looks like. Beachcombing over the years. Nice little agate collection. Okay. We're going to have to do our fiddle farting around getting the gasket in here. But I'm hoping, since I'm in a better state of mind, not irritated beyond belief, that maybe things will just work out today. Because sometimes that's how things go. You start. Part of what really got me back on this was the fact that I knew I couldn't ship it out. I had it in the office overnight. The carb in a bag, in a Ziploc bag, sealed, and I still was getting the stench of gasoline. So I knew I was going to have to take it apart and at least blow the crap out, blow the fuel out and let it air out before I could ship it. So the reasonable side of me said, hey dude, you gotta at least take one more stab at this. And even things that you think are good, check them again. Check them better. Sometimes that's what it takes. I am going to reset this to what I think it should be. One and a quarter. I'm going to go 1 on the high. Alright folks. Fingers crossed. I'm going to back this idle off just a smidge. There we go. Oh, think it would help to hook up the fuel hose? In all likelihood it would. Don't piss me off. Okay folks, this is not the same issue that's going on right here. It's running extremely rich even with the new settings that I put on there. So my problem is that I'm fighting with it. You can see it's blowing a lot of smoke and I've got to clear it out and try and get it adjusted before it dies out. And I just had to go a little leaner than I'm accustomed to, which makes me think that little piece of sand or whatever did actually enlarge that port a little bit. So, but anyway, that's what all this fun and games is about. Alright, enough already. Wouldn't do that before now, would it? Well, I'm glad to have found it. Irritated that it took so long. Let my oversight save one of you guys from that kind of hassle. You saw all the symptoms in the previous video. I'll link it in this one. If you've exhausted everything else, take another look at those stupid bleed holes, you know, where you're feeding fuel in. This was deep in there. And again, I used the shortcut. I looked at it. It looked fine. It wasn't fine. So, Chad, I'm going to air this out properly this time because it stinks to high heaven of fuel when I try to put it in the box, and it'll never make it to you. They'll impound it. So, I'll get it aired out and we'll get it heading your way ASAP.